Welcome Pisces to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 18th of March for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. On the screen now I'm showing the event chart for the start of the week, and you can see the Sun is side by side with your ruler Neptune. In fact, your two rulers are going to be a big part of this week's story. So the week begins with the potential for you to use your intuition, your psychic abilities, your instincts in a very effective way, right? Well, maybe not, because the quarter moon, which occurred at the end of last week, was in your fourth house of your emotion. The first house is where you want to take action, and Neptune's not really a planet of action, is it? It's much more of a spiritual dimension. So you could start this week actually feeling a bit underpowered, maybe even a little bit confused or overwhelmed, especially with some personal considerations. And there has been a paradox in your situation of late, because as much as you have had the posse of influences in your sign, you've also had the strident energies of Mars and Pluto still in Aquarius, and they've been accentuating the relationships that are not so strong, and also some more psychological debris that may still be floating around inside of you, to be honest. So as we start this week, I feel that you could be feeling exceptionally tender. However, the great news is that Sun moves out of your sign on Wednesday into Aries, where of course it's lit up by the fire of this sign, which is governed by Mars, and it forges a really positive link to Pluto. So if since the 21st of January you have been doing a lot of soul searching and not quite finding it as easy to be in the present, I think what you can do now is make a lot more sense of the process you've been going through. But the Sun moving into your second house in a more practical sense is an opportunity to convert the ideas you've been working on recently into something more tangible. However, as this week goes on, Venus in your sign, which has definitely been giving you an even greater sense of gorgeousness, does connect with Saturn. And let's go back a year ago to when Saturn moved into your sign. If you are born early in the sign of Pisces, you probably haven't had such an easy time of it over the last 12 months. Now, Venus moving into your sign has definitely been promoting the concept that you could give yourself some kind of makeover or start some new creative projects. You're really inspired when you are doing something that has a meaning beyond the practical, and Venus is helping that. But what Saturn's saying is that it needs to be shaped in some kind of way that makes it tangible. So if you've had some great ideas of late but haven't known how to structure them, the Sun moving into Aries and the start of the Western tropical year and Venus applying to Saturn will give you a much greater opportunity to get some kind of foundational elements in place. But there's more, because on Friday, probably the highlight of this week in some ways, is that Mars makes its way into your sign after those 6 long, very psychological weeks in Aquarius, where you may have felt that your moods were very up and down. There may have been times when you felt very tearful, at other times quite annoyed. So Mars moving into your sign brings you into the present. And as much as Venus and Saturn can be a very cold link, and if there is a relationship of any kind that hasn't been working very well, particularly if you feel that someone's not been very loyal, whether it is a family member through the quarter moon, or whether it is a friend or a connection, someone in your network, or perhaps even in a romantic context, Mars moving into your sign gives you more fierceness, more thrust. So as much as Venus applies to Saturn, sees you thinking more coolly, it may help you, this combination, to separate yourself from something that just hasn't been working. So you could enter a part of the year when you're starting afresh as this week draws to a close, but then Venus and Jupiter forge one of the most lucky influences in astrology on Sunday. And it's quite extraordinary, really. So I feel as you start this week, if you are feeling a bit dispirited, underpowered, lacking in motivation, or conversely, your perceptions are so strong, it's making it difficult to block out the emotions and sensations that you're picking up, even in a non-verbal way from others. By the end of the week, you're going to be feeling so much more energized. You're going to be on the front foot. Even if there is something painful to get through with Venus applying to Saturn, your determination to really go with what's right for you and get a firmer grip on your life direction is going to be clear as the week comes to a close. And there can be a lucky conversation as the celestial curtain comes down on the week. If you are someone who enjoys the flutter, I wouldn't be against it, with Jupiter and Venus in a beautiful sextile, particularly with Jupiter in your third house. That's very much to do with modern technology. And Jupiter, of course, the greater benefic, Venus the lesser, the two planets of fortune, really give you so much uplift as this week draws to a close.